Yo, how's everyone doing? Welcome back for another Black Ops 3 video, and what's going on here with my gem camo that I just got from my Weevil? It's glitching up already, that kind of sucks, but it turns back to normal eventually. Even though it's glitching right now, it still looks pretty cool, even though it's like faded and just not, as poppy as it normally is. But anyways, to the topic of today's video, we're going to be talking about some more aiming tips for Black Ops 3, some things that'll help you aim a little bit better, be more ready for gunfights, be more prepared, and all that kind of stuff. And right here you see I pre-aim. I'm thinking maybe they're going to come off their spawn. I aim back out, but I'm still ready to shoot, and here I line up this guy because I kind of saw where he was coming from and easily take both of them out. And pre-aiming is something that can be very, very helpful, and also kind of trying to line up a shot while pre-aiming if you kind of know where someone's coming from, like I did there. That was a very good example to start off the video. But a lot of people like to run fast hands and quick draw, and this is one thing that I used to use, but I don't use it anymore, and I don't feel any necessity for it because I simply just pre-aim. It's very helpful. It gives you a huge advantage in a lot of different situations, and even when you shouldn't have an advantage, you still get one just because you're going to be on target quicker than the other person, most likely, because even if they are using fast hands and quick draw and they come out of sprint, they're still not already aimed down sight like you're going to be if you pre-aim. So it's one thing that I do a lot. I do a ton throughout this video, and I do it through a lot of my gameplays. You might just not notice it since, I don't ever talk about it. It might just be something you see, but you're just like not really like, oh, he's pre-aiming right there or something like that. So that's why we're talking about it today. I think it's something that'll help a lot of people out. And also we're going to be talking about centering, which kind of has something to do with what I just mentioned in the beginning, and just a few other little things along the way. Now, just in case some of you don't know what the term means, pre-aiming, it's basically aiming down sight like I was right here before the enemy comes around the corner, or before I even know that someone's there. So that way my gun's up and it's ready to just shoot. I'll be pretty much on target, and this is extremely helpful because most people don't do this, like I think I already mentioned, and it just gives you an advantage, especially if you're aiming on them before they even come around the corner, because if you line it up and you kind of just guess where they're coming from, this gives you a huge advantage because you're just ready to shoot, whether they're going to have to pull up their weapon, get on target, and then shoot. And sometimes you'll be able to kill people before they can even start shooting their weapon accurately. The next question you might have is, when do I pre-aim? How do I know when to pre-aim? And it's pretty simple. There's not really a bad time to pre-aim. It's pretty much always going to do something helpful for you, or it just won't do anything because there will be nobody there. But the thing is, you want to try and do it, and there are different situations though, like right here. When I just kind of ran into a guy, it's better just to hit fire up close, because if you try and aim down and just drag across your screen, you're not going to be able to move as fast as people, and that's something that I really had to learn in this game, because I don't think it used to be like that, honestly, but with the movements and everything, that's just kind of how it is now, so that's how I go about it. But right here, I heard someone jump out of the water, and I was like, well, how do I want to go about this? And right there you see, he had no idea what I did. That's what you want to try and do. You want to be unpredictable. You want to do something that the enemy won't expect, and right there that guy had absolutely no shot. But back to what I was saying, there's seriously never really a bad time to pre-aim unless you're really close up like I just mentioned. But if you're coming around a corner like right here, you want to pre-aim, because then that way you can get on target very quickly. Sadly that guy got my teammate, but as you see I got my streaks here, and it's just so helpful to do this because you're on point. And look right here, man, I got taken out by this Pharaoh, one burst. I wish my Pharaoh would perform like that because I never would have that happen, but sometimes things like that happen. I always say that things like this will happen in Call of Duty and any video game pretty much. But you also want to pre-aim when you think that someone's coming, just because you maybe hear footsteps, you hear some gunfire that you don't think's your teammates, and different things like that. There's never a bad time to be ready for an unexpected gunfight because you never know. Someone could have ghost, they could have dead silence, whatever it might be that can throw you off guard. You just want to be ready for that, and all you have to do is aim down sight where you think that person's coming from, and this will pretty much keep you safe most of the time. And obviously you got to be able to hold your aim. That's a whole nother thing, and I talked about that briefly in my original aiming video, just basic tips that'll help you, kind of control your aim, keep your aim steady and on target, and different things like that. And there's obviously going to be more things we can talk about, but these are the ones I want to focus on today because these are semi-basic and just things that you want to get into the habit of doing because they'll really help you. The next thing you'll probably ask is, how do I know where to pre-aim? How am I going to know where these enemies are coming from, even if I hear them or if I don't even see them and I'm just guessing? Like, how are you going to know? And honestly, every game is different, every situation is different, so I can't really tell you for sure, but I can give you a few tips to kind of give you an idea. And right here again, I pre-aim around the corner, just happen to get a double kill by accident and get a nice little quad feed here, which I think that's like my third quad feed. I just never get quad feeds in this game. But some basic tips on this is just you gotta like try and hear exactly where they're coming from. You might just hear generally where they are, but try and figure out exactly where they are, and this will help you pinpoint them, and then you'll know which door to aim on or which area of the map to aim on and different things like that. Another thing, check your mini-map, see where your teammates are, and if there's say 2 doorways or something like that and you know your teammate's in the one, but you hear footsteps and you think it's an enemy, then aim on the other one, different things like that. And it's just basic awareness that you gotta kind of learn over time, and you're not just gonna pick it up right away. I could tell you as many things as I want to tell you, but it still comes through practice, playing the game, and just kind of understanding the map and how people are playing it. Some other things that are really helpful though is use your UAV if you have it. You'll see those little red dots on the map and you'll know where people are coming from, but you can't forget that some people run Ghost, so if they're moving you won't see them, and that's one thing you gotta keep in mind. But also try and communicate with your teammates. If people tell you where someone is, then you'll know where to pre-aim. They'll say there's a guy coming there, or there, or there, whatever, and then you'll know. So it's always good to try and talk to people. I know a lot of people just don't talk and stuff, but I always enjoy playing with at least one person because then that way I have someone to communicate with. The last thing we're going to talk about today is centering, and this is something that I don't think I used to do. I'm not 100% sure, but it's something I found to be really helpful and useful, and I'm not sure if that's the exact term for it or not, but just kind of makes sense to me, so that's what we're going to call it. But basically, instead of just walking around the map just nonchalantly, like not really paying attention to where your crosshairs are, you're just maybe like aiming to the wall to your left or just kind of down below you, in front of you, whatever it might be. You want to try and have your crosshairs consistently straight in front of you, and in the direction you should be looking though where you think enemies can come from, whether it be a doorway, just somewhere where you can walk through or you can jump through, whatever it might be, because then this way this gives you a huge advantage. Anyone who does not do this, if they have their crosshairs aiming at the ground or just not where enemies can be coming from, say where you're coming from, you got a big advantage on them, because if you do this, then that way you have another quicker advantage to aim on them because you already have them lined up. Now all you have to do is aim down sight and start shooting. For them, they're going to have to adjust their aim up to you, aim down sight, and then start shooting, or if they aim down sight, adjust and then start shooting, whatever it might be. It just puts them at a disadvantage and always gives you an advantage. And even if other people are doing this, at least that way then it's 50-50, because if you're aiming straight down at the ground, but they're doing this, they're aiming their crosshairs where you're coming from and ready to shoot you, they're pretty much always going to have an advantage, and unless they have really crappy accuracy, they're probably going to be able to kill you. I've noticed just from watching a few people play that this seems to just be kind of a habit thing. It's like whatever you started doing when you started playing Call of Duty, that's kind of just what you get stuck on doing. And if this isn't brought to your attention, it's just kind of something that you just keep on doing, and it's just something, it's just a little thing, but it can really help you. And it doesn't sound like much, but it's kind of the step before pre-aiming, because if you're centering, say you don't get a chance to pre-aim, at least you're already on target, so then all you have to do is aim down sight and shoot. And sometimes you can even start hip firing and then shooting, and sometimes that'll work as well. So I really hope this helps people out. These are 2 really important aiming tips, I think. And here's another little tip from my buddy I was playing with here, Vocal Trap Lord. This is a really good thing. Again, don't be predictable. You know, do what the enemy doesn't think you're going to do. He laid down because he knew that enemy was coming, and he took him out very easily. But thank you very much for watching. I do apologize for it being so long since I've had a video up. I hope every one of you that watched this learned something helpful or useful today. If you did, drop a like, leave a comment, let me know, and I'll talk to y'all again very soon. Peace out.